Welcome to Time News. The student debts have reached 16.5 million. Good morning once again. I am Success Mutlana. These are your top stories. The student debts have reached 16.5 million and majority of NSFAS applications are from the South African Social Agency beneficiaries. Same-sex marriages protected as Cyril Ramaphosa passes the Civil Union Amendment Bill into law, and Russia reports intercepting a missile over annexed Crimea and briefly halts traffic on Key Bridge. The student debt has reached 16.5 million and majority of NSFAS applications are from South African Security Agency beneficiaries. Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation Blade Nzimande outlined that higher education was working towards developing an alternative funding model for universities and training colleges. This was when he was speaking about the department's readiness for the 2023 academic year on Tuesday at a media briefing in Pretoria. He said the department would present the model in Parliament after consultation with the relevant stakeholders. The issue of student debt was brought by stakeholders who also noted that the system as it is now has not altered and that the ever-rising debt will inevitably bring down the system. The students who fell in the missing middle category were also a concern for the department since they do not qualify for NSFAS and they cannot afford tuition fees. The department has been working on developing a new and improved comprehensive student funding model in order to better handle student debt, which is hoping to be concluded soon. He said, "We will direct loans and bursaries and direct this effort towards students located within the scarce skills category. We will also work with universities to say those students who are willing to acknowledge debt must also be admitted, hoping it is the last time we make these arrangements before the new funding models comes into effect." The minister said National Student Financial Aid Scheme received more than 1 million applications. He said most applicants were beneficiaries of the South African Social Security Agency grants. As a result, we appeal to institutions to register these students and allow administrative processes between NSFAS and the institutions to continue. We will be back with more stories after the break. Welcome back once again. Same-sex marriages protected as Ramaphosa passes the Civil Union Amendment Bill into law. The Department of Home Affairs officers are no longer allowed to refuse to conduct the same-sex marriage couple. This was after the President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed the law of the Civil Union Amendment Bill that was passed on Thursday, which repealed the Section 6 of the Civil Union Act of 2006. The spokesperson, Tiruni Naidu, said the bill was provided in order to inform the Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, to ensure that the officer for marriages, including people of the same sex, is available to dignify the civil union because this provision had been causing tension to the legal recognition and same-sex couple by the marriage officers. The Department of Home Affairs has been given the period of 24 months under the bill to train the officials that was previously been given the exemption by the minister. Naidu also added that the marriage officers who also had tension to the legal recognition of the same-sex couples are informed to be available during the training to ensure that none of the same-sex couples are turned away. He said the bill denoted the positive motion towards eliminating existing differentiation between marriages and civil union partnership, reducing the high rate of discrimination against those who have same-sex relationship and empowering equality in South Africa. We have one of our reporters in the ground, Chirofaji Mulepo, filing this report.
Success. Right now we're reporting live at the University of Limpopo, where we're going to interview students as Ramaphosa passes the Civil Union Amendment Bill of the same-sex marriage into law. What's the take on the passing of the Civil Union Amendment Bill of the same-sex marriage into law?
I don't really agree with what the government is doing. I think they're promoting committing abomination activities. If we look in the Bible, in Matthew 2 verse 25, Jesus described marriage as a union between a man and a woman. So anything beside that is a sexual immorality.
Take on the passing of the Civil Union Amendment Bill of the same-sex marriage into law.
My opinion based on the same-sex marriage bill into law, it is a good idea because as people we have different views and we can choose for a person to marry the person who she or he does not have feelings for, and all people have their lives. So choosing people who we want to get into marriage into is our own decision. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
For more time-to-time news, I'm Chofa Jomlepo and back to you in studio.
In other news, Russia reports intercepting a missile over annexed Crimea and briefly halts traffic on Key Bridge. Russia installed authorities in the Crimea Peninsula on Sunday reports shooting down a cruise missile near the city of Kerch and briefly suspending traffic on the Kerch Bridge that links the annexed territory to Russia. This has affected South Africa's impact on the disruptions to trade, and sanctions will weigh on exports and imports. For that reason, it will cause higher energy and fuel prices will increase the inflation rate. The Moscow-appointed governor of Crimea, Sergei Aksyonov, says that the interception of the missile by Russia air defenses didn't result in any damage or casualties. He didn't offer any details, including the type of the missile and its origin. The war between Ukraine and Russia has inflationary effect on local food, fuel prices, and soaring globally. Food and fuel prices will have an immediate effect on the most vulnerable, resulting in hunger and hardship for households that spend the highest share of income on food. But the loss of purchasing power and real spending will ultimately be felt by everyone. In the neighbor Russia region of Rostov, authorities on Sunday also reported shooting down a missile. Gov Vasily Glubev said the missile was Ukrainian and its debris damaged the roof of several buildings, but no casualties have been reported. Our reporter on the ground, Mrs. Chofa Jomlepo, is filing this report.
Thank you, Success. Right now, we're reporting live at the University of Limpopo, right here at Language and Communication Lab, where we're going to hear students' view about the war between Ukraine and Russia. Right here with me, I have a student who's going to share a view about the war. Good day, ma'am. How are you?
Good day, ma'am. I'm fine, and you?
Okay. How did the war between Ukraine and Russia affect South Africa?
According to my perspective, ma'am, I think the war between Ukraine and Russia has affected South Africa drastically. For example, looking at fuel prices and petrol prices, they have increased and they continue increasing day by day and each and every hour. So when we look at the news also, so many South Africans has lost their jobs, so many companies have closed, inflation rate increases, which leads to prices of food increasing each and every day also, and also poverty keeps on rising, and the percentage of unemployment continue rising also. Yes.
There you have it. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, for more time-to-time news, I'm Chofa Jomlepo and back to you in studio.
This brings us to the end of today's top stories. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Success Mutlana. This is Time to Time News.